see we've got a couple of people starting to trickle in. We are live streaming this as well, so we're going to get started in about 5 minutes. All right, we are going to go ahead and get started. I know I saw a couple people come into the room, and I know we're live streaming this as well. So good evening and welcome everyone to our open house. My name is Nikki Wagenschutz, and my role here at Quest Charter Academy is to work as a coach for our teachers in 6th through 9th grade who are working in the Summit Learning platform. And so my whole goal is just to make sure that staff are using our curriculum in the best way possible and that students are getting the most from that curriculum. So we're going to jump right in. I'm going to give you a brief overview into how the platform is made up. And then I am going to kind of give you a quick overview how your students will get logged in and a few of the features they can use once they are in the platform. Okay, here we go. So the Summit Learning Platform is made up of 3 different components. The first component, oh, I went ahead too far, is our mentoring. And so that is where a student and teacher meet together on a weekly basis just to check in. The mentor kind of works as a support for that student. We also have projects, which is where students apply skills that they've learned in the classroom. And then we have our self-direction, which is where students are digging deeper into that content knowledge. And so in each of those pieces of the platform, we kind of look at different proficiencies in areas where we want students to succeed. So first is cog skills, then we have content knowledge, and then finally we have habits of success. And I'm going to go a little bit more into what that involves in just a second. So cognitive skills, your students are going to see most of these in the projects that they're working on. Cognitive skills are easy and transferable skills, and they include things like learning how to create a model or identifying patterns in relationships. These skills are cross-curricular, meaning I may use them in science and social studies, English, and math. And we have 36 cognitive skills that we try to instill in our students while they are working in the platform. The next thing you'll hear students talk about a lot is content knowledge. And this comes from an area called the focus areas in the platform. And this is where students will learn more of that traditional classroom understanding of complex issues and challenging facts and concepts. This is important just because it gives students a foundation to develop the cognitive skills, and within the context of cognitive skills, it shows that they are really good at critical thinking. And then finally, we have habits of success. Habits of success are mindsets and behaviors that support academic achievement and well-being. And we look at 16 of those habits of success, not just in our core classes, but also in our social emotional learning classes. And so habits of success can include things like self-direction, curiosity, sense of purpose, resiliency, agency, and academic tenacity. And those are just a few of the habits of success we try to instill in our students through the use of the Summit Learning platform. So just again, a quick refresh. Our platform is made up of 3 things: mentoring, where students meet one-on-one with a dedicated mentor who supports them in setting and achieving their goals. We have self-direction, where students are starting to really focus in on that content knowledge, making them deeper thinkers, more critical thinkers. And then we have our projects, where students will actually spend most of that time applying the content knowledge they have learned in order to attain kind of hands-on, real-world skills. So as far as when your students enter the platform itself, next week their teachers will give them a link to summitlearning.org. And what your students will do is when they get on that website, they will click on the login button in the top right corner of the screen. What your students will do is they will actually go down to the bottom and enter an enrollment code. For each of the classes they take in the platform, their teachers will give them a specific class to make sure they end up in the right classroom within the platform. Your students will also, from that point on, always log in using the Google Drive, and they'll just use their school email address in order to do that. Examples of things your students will see in the platform: goal setting, We expect our students to set goals in all of their classes on a weekly, if not daily basis. The nice thing about the way this platform works is that it allows students to type in individualized goals, or if that's not a strength they have, there is a guided process that allows them to pick specific things and what skills they want to work on in regards to those topics. We also have a unique announcements feature where students' teachers can push out announcements to them that will appear at the top of the screen. So even if they're not in class that day, they could go back and check the announcements. If a teacher has forgotten something in class, they could push out an announcement for everybody to see later in the day. As a part of having a mentor, we do expect that your student is an active participant in that process. And so part of that is preparing for their mentoring check-in on a weekly basis. And so they will get a little alert or reminder letting them know it's time, or their check-in is coming up. And so it will ask them a series of questions to help them get ready for that meeting. And then finally, we have the year navigation page. This is a great tool for students, but for parents as well, if they log into their student's account, that shows how on track their students are. And so it's broken down into projects to power focus areas where students learn that content knowledge. And then if your students are working ahead, they can also do additional focus areas to kind of continue to challenge themselves. And so what will happen is this blue line is the pacing line. And so what happens is if a student has not completed an activity by the time that line passes, meaning when it was due, the different areas will turn red, letting the student know they are missing something, something has not been turned in. So a great example is down here at the bottom in math. This student has either a late or incorrect math unit, and they have not completed their focus area on time. The great thing is if a student goes back and either fixes the problems in the project, or they retake or try their content assessment again, these are able to be turned green again. Anything that's blue is something that has been assigned or that is coming up, and students can work ahead if they want to, but those are things that are not due yet. Another important aspect from the parent perspective is the student's progress page. So once a student is logged in, they would click on this little icon here, and it gives a breakdown of how the student is doing. So it lets you know approximately what their grades are in each class. It will also turn red, or it will turn red if they have fallen behind in a class. It also kind of calendars things out. It shows how many goals your students have set and whether or not they have completed those tasks. As far as understanding grades, this page for our students is an approximate goal because we do move the grades into Skyward, but you'll get a general idea of what your students' grade in the platform is using the grades tab. That is all I have for you this evening. During the first week of school, we will get your students set up in the platform. And then the second week of school, they will be participating in an onboarding process, getting them familiar. And during that time, we will send out information about how parents can log in on their end of the platform in order to kind of keep track on how your student is doing. If anyone has any questions, feel free to put them in the chat, or if you email administration, we can walk you through some things at a later time. Thank you all for coming. I'm excited to work with you all.